want to put this out there before the beginning of this video that since all of this has happened and in the last 11 years, I have since been adopted by the man I call my dad. He is my dad in every way that counts and every way that matters. So before you watch any of this, please remember that. He is the only one I have seen and who's been in my life as well as my mother since all of this has happened. Enjoy the video. Okay guys, I'm back with another video. This video is a little bit more personal. I am going to talk about the childhood I had and the depression, bipolar, suicidal thoughts, and anxiety that I have, and how I feel it's all connected. Really, because I honestly feel like if I didn't have the childhood I had, and if I didn't go through what I did when I was a kid, I wouldn't have the issues I have. Oh, I also have trust issues. But let me just cut to the chase. I was abused emotionally, physically, sexually, mentally, medically. Pretty much any kind of abuse you can think of, I went through it. From a very young age up until 2007. February 3rd, 2007 is actually when I decided enough was enough and I spoke up about what was going on. Growing up with that kind of abuse and being molested by someone who you trusted and someone who was meant to protect you is seriously something that can mess up anybody for the rest of their lives. And I went through all of this abuse from none other than my own biological father, my sperm donor. And it's a father's job to sit there and protect his little girl. It's a father's job to sit there and make sure no one does those sort of things to her. And when those kind of things happen to his little girl, it is his job to go after the one who did it and not hold back. But that's not the case for me, because my own flesh and blood, the person who shares my DNA, who is supposed to be my father, did that to me. And that's something I can't let go of. And that's something that still bothers me to this day. And I've not been around him. I've not seen him since 2007 at court with CP, Child Protective Services and all that stuff, because we went to court over all this. And I was able to stay in foster care, which thankfully I was, because I'm so grateful for my foster parents. But because of what he did to me at 8 years old, when I got diagnosed with depression because I tried to kill myself, I was too scared to speak up about what was going on. Too scared to say, hey, this is happening, because I was afraid no one would believe me. I was afraid that I'd tell somebody, they'd go talk to him about it. He'd tell them, oh, she's lying, she's not there all the way, stuff like that. And I'd go right back to that place and I'd get it worse. Growing up, I was also told by him that I would be lucky to live to see 16. How can you sit there and tell a child that when there's nothing wrong with them, that they'll be lucky to live to be 16? Who the hell does that? He led me to believe that, excuse me, I had a serious heart problem, when in fact there was nothing wrong with my heart. Yes, I had a heart murmur that had to be looked at every 6 months, but it wasn't life-threatening, because I'm 28 now, and look at me, I'm alive. I no longer have that heart murmur. It went away when I turned 18 or 19. He would not only beat me, but he would beat my brothers. Over the smallest thing, he dropped something, whop. We got blamed for it. He effed up dinner which he couldn't cook. We got blamed for it. Something didn't go his way, we got blamed for it. And going through all of that, it led me to have so many issues to where I feel like I'm not worthy. I feel like I don't deserve anybody. And it's led me to have the suicidal thoughts I have. Do I act on these thoughts? No. I have 3 beautiful babies I gotta think of. They are the reason I'm still alive today. My oldest is the reason I'm still alive today, because if not for finding out about her when I did, I would have made sure I ended my life. But because of what happened to me throughout my whole childhood and my adolescence and teen years and all that stuff, it's led me to have the issues I have today, which is a whole lot of mess. It's led me to have the problems I have, and no matter how hard I try, I have problems letting go of what's happened to me. I have problems of trying to trust people because of what's happened. I'm grateful because I've been out of that house since February 3rd, 2008. If I said 2007 earlier, I made a mistake. It was February 3rd, 2008 when I got taken out. Here it is going on 11 years since I've been out. And the issues I had then, yeah, I've gotten a little bit better, but I still have my trust issues. I still have my depression. I'm always going to be bipolar, which is something I recently got diagnosed with, and finally I'm admitting, I am bipolar. This is something I have to live with. It's not something I'm proud of. It's not something I like, but with the proper medication, I can live with it. I can manage it. But the whole point of me making this video is so people can know me a little bit more and know just how badly I had a childhood. I am forever grateful for the foster family that took me in. I will always love Mama Betty and Mr. Jim, who I call Mama Betty and Daddy Jim. I was with them from the time I was 17 going on 18 up until my 21st birthday. I flat did not want to leave their home. I wanted to stay. There is so much I want to do, but I am so scared that I regress. I would love to go and face my abuser and tell him, hey, I forgive you. I got a phone call. Sorry, guys. As I was saying, I want to face my abuser and tell them, I forgive you. Not for you, but for me, so I can get that closure I need and move on with my life. But I'm afraid that if I go do that, it's going to only make things worse for me. A lot worse. I am afraid that I am going to regress in the progress that I have made in these last 11 years. And that's something I don't need. And there are people I've talked to about it who's known me since I was in foster care, since before foster care, and they agree that that's something I don't need to do. But I guess that's the whole reason I'm making this video is to pretty much say if you're being abused, you're not alone. You're not alone in this at all. It's not your fault. There are a lot of people out there who are being abused now who went through abuse. And to the ones who went through abuse, they made it. They survived. They're not victims. They're freaking survivors. when you make it through something like that and you're able to sit there and talk about it and cope with it the best way you can without being triggered, you're a survivor. And right now, I'm not really triggered. This is something I wanted to do for a little bit because I want to help other people out there, not only other young girls, but other young men who are going through this. Because they need to know they're not alone in this and that it's not your fault. Speak up. Don't be afraid to say something. Just speak up and say, this is going on with me. I don't want to go home. And if no one believes you, then do what I did when they came and got me out of Home of the Innocents, which is like a group home type thing. When I thought they were taking me back home, I told them flat out, you take me back there, I will run away, and you will not find me. Now, I'm not condoning running away because you don't get your way. But I am condoning that if you're being abused and no one believes you and no one removes you from that situation, then run. Because you got to get yourself out of that situation if no one is willing to help you. And if you do run away, don't run to a friend's house. Don't run to a family member's house. Go to a hospital. Go to a police station, a fire station. And tell them why you ran away. Explain to them, I spoke up, I told people what's going on, but they sent me back home. I don't feel safe there. Please help me. Because I'm afraid for my life. Now, if you're a kid who don't like the fact that mama and daddy don't give you what you want, that's another story. Mama and daddy don't gotta bend over backwards and give you everything you want. Their only jobs is to feed you, provide for you, clothe you, shelter you, keep you warm. Make sure you have clothing. That and water and electricity. Those are the only things that they need to do. They don't need to go out and buy the newest phone, the newest game system, the newest clothing, the newest shoes. They don't need to go out and buy you a car. No, that's not their jobs. Their jobs are to provide you with the necessities you need. And the newest clothing, newest phone, newest car, newest game system, and newest shoes, those are not necessities. Those are wants. Those are not needs. There's a difference between a want and a need. So if you're one of them kids who feels like mom and dad is abusing you by not giving you what you want, then you don't need to be running away from home. If you want something, then you need to get a job and pay for it yourself. Or if you do chores around the house and you get an allowance, you need to save your allowance and buy it yourself. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit that notification button. Y'all have a great day. And remember, if you are being abused mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, and I can't remember what else, but if you're being abused in any sort of way, speak up. Say something. Don't let no one hold you back. Don't let the fear keep you back. Say something now. Have a great night. Good night. God bless.